Right, we'll move on to news proper, and this is sort of really the biggest news of the last couple of months, and we're back to AEW. So AEW's incredible new deal. I won't bore you with the facts because, or apart from a couple, because we'll be here all day from it. But essentially, AEW is now getting $185 million valued at, because it's not all cash injection, per year when all the elements are taken into account. Under the new deal, AEW shows Dynamite and Collision will remain on TBS and TNT respectively. Rampage is being cancelled, we believe.
Really?
Yeah, well, yeah, it does nothing and they don't put any effort into it, so they might as well get rid of it. Who knows? I was thinking, should they take that 1 hour and then add it to Dynamite?
I think if AEW takes any hour that they have and put it somewhere else, it wouldn't perform any better because the content is the content. No matter how well intentioned the content is, I don't know about you, but I'm not going to watch a match, watch move after move after move. I'm just not going to do that because it doesn't interest me.
Well, there's actually precedent. Because Rampage, I don't know if it was a year ago, whenever it was moved to Wednesday directly after Dynamite, and I think it like doubled the viewership number of what Rampage would have got on a Friday night as a standalone show. So what if you instead move that hour from Friday, put it to Dynamite, and then just had a 3-hour Dynamite? Now, me and you, and I suspect a lot of people out there, think 3 hours for a TV show, wrestling TV show, is far too long. But the fact is that apparently there's enough people out there who don't think it's far too long and will sit through the entire 3 hours. So if you're going to give the same amount of time.
But not many, believe me. But not many. A 3-hour, hey, when I see a movie that's 3 hours, I go, I mean, I wouldn't go to it. 3 hours is a long time to watch one product. It's a long, long time, and I'm not going to do it. I mean, I'm a football fan, so I watch the football game, even though they're exciting. And when they go over 3 hours, I'm getting a little itchy. I'm saying, hey, we need to wrap this up, guys. Do you finish? Let's go. Let me get out of here.
That's because there's only 60 minutes worth of actual action. And they just stretch it out over 3.5 hours, man.
Well, that's why I say I cannot watch it just for the moves. Tell me a story. Throw me some interviews in there. Do this. Make it interesting. But just watching a match over and over and I think most of the wrestling fans agree with me because they get bored. And when you get bored, if you were really watching the channel changing, your rating drops and drops and drops. That's why they rated every 15 minutes. And you'll see what was going on here, going on here, going on here. But most of it will drop, I would think.
I think you're right on the 3rd hour. I mean, with Raw, it's always the lowest, or almost always the lowest rated hour, but it's still better than what Rampage would be getting. But we don't know that's happening.
Raw went back to 2 hours, right?
Yeah, until the end of the year. Then when they go back to Netflix, there'll be 3 again.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you some more info about this.
Let me ask you about Netflix. Any
Yes.
commercials? Any commercials there or no?
I believe yes, if you're on the lowest Netflix tier. If you are not on the lowest Netflix tier, then no adverts, no commercials. But if you're on the like Amazon Prime, they'll just insert the advertising like they do a broadcast television show on that sense. Let me give you some more information. AEW programming will be streaming live on Max simultaneously for US subscribers. That'll be starting in January 2025. Tony Khan is impossibly happy about this, and I don't blame him. That's a huge bump from what he was making before. And,
Yay, Tony!
Hey,
well,
he can afford $5,000 now.
Hey, Tony!
I actually want to get to, apart from Warner Brothers Discovery, how's he pulled this off, quite frankly, Tony Khan? Because we were thinking the absolute best case scenario was all in value of this deal, 175 or 170 million a year. And then he's even exceeded that. And at the moment, as we say, the ratings aren't doing that well. Ticket sales aren't selling that well. But somehow he must have had a heck of a team to knock out this deal. It's amazing.
Well, apparently he understands it a lot better than we do, or I do. because you sent me that thing you were going to read. It's long and drawn out, and TBS and Warner Brothers and this. It all runs together to me. I don't know how he did it, but Tony, congratulations. But somehow, you know, Dave is going to take that and say it's a backhanded compliment that I thanked him for it.
No, he won't mention you for a while. He won't mention you for a while because every single post he did, or numerous posts that he has done in the past few days, someone has written on it, how about you start talking about Dutch Mantell? So he keeps getting reminded of you and then is ignoring it. So he will continue to ignore you because he knows he's in the wrong. That being said, back into AEW. Production is going to be improving in 2025. This has been maybe my biggest bugbear and yours.
Right. We talked about the production. I mean, if Tony Khan, he's a billionaire, so he can afford the production that WWE does. You watch WWE, I mean, if you've never watched wrestling before and you watch WWE, SmackDown, or Raw, you gotta say, wow, look at it, grabs you right off the bat. Their production, their intro to their shows. So Tony, and that was one of our complaints about his show, is, hey, let's brighten that back up a little bit when you do those interviews in the back. Hell, let's make it look like it's belonging on a multi-million-dollar show.
So, Mike Mansouri, a name that people have heard here, there, and everywhere, I think recently. He's now AEW EVP of Global Production. Here's the quote. The idea was getting more IP-based with everything that we are doing. How can we get AEW to be more towards the cutting edge? That's always the challenge of our line of work. We're not quite sport, we're not quite entertainment, we're a lovely hybrid. How do we take our form of content and intertwine technology into it that leaves us in the cutting edge and allows us to be trendsetters as opposed to followers? I think he was also maybe hinting at more licensed music, which would be fantastic. Hopefully better lighting and better production, and as you say, in the back as well. And something else. AEW wants to have live audiences to have a more special experience. Continuing, Mansouri indicated that All Elite Wrestling plans to present a more sports-style show to fans who attend live shows using the revamped production to aid in the process. Starting in 2025, here's the quote, you'll see more of a sports-style presentation in arena in terms of being able to entertain the audience when there isn't in-ring content or take content happening as part of the television broadcast. Sort of sounds like he's bringing the Nitro girls back.
Well, bring something back. Entertain these people. If you're going to have a 3-hour show, you better entertain them. Or at the end of the show, your rating is going to drop to its lowest point. Because Raw did it for years, because always that last segment always did their biggest rating or almost their lowest rating. Because if you're going to bore people at the top of hour 3, that rating is just going to drop lower and lower and lower. So anyway, how many times have we seen Raw, The Rock? He did like a 22 or 23-minute segment on, was it Raw or SmackDown?
Well, it would have been both back in the day.
No, not too long ago. Him and Cody. I mean, when Rock went in there, and it was a 22 or 23-minute segment, but grew and grew and grew because the people, that was their top angle. That was their top push. So the people wanted to see what was going on. And it grew. I think everybody needs to go back and watch WWE during the Attitude Era, because they always they pushed you toward the last.